So tonight I want to talk about 9 of the 84 quotes. Poor Brad Beecham thought I was going to talk about 20. He said we'll be here till 10 o'clock, but I'm actually going to only speak for about 15 minutes, and we're going to move on into the session. But I want to kind of focus on 9 areas that I think are important. And the first one is vision. The second is purpose. The third is goals. The fourth is accountability. The fifth is consistency. The seventh is commitment. The eighth, I got out of order, commitment, connectivity, sustainability, and a very important word that's cornerstone to our creed, which is love. Talking about vision, it kind of reminds me of a true story that happened. I was making a speech to about 600 people for one of the companies I was the CEO of in 1998, and we were in Florida, and it was kind of a cold day, so I put on a long sleeve shirt. It was a big deal. It was opening world sales meeting, and back then you wear polyester shirts, and so I got to the word I was going to start talking about vision, and so I was really all hyped up and excited. And so as I was just about to start to talk about my vision, I looked down in my shirt and I saw this white thing sticking out. And I thought it was a bounce from the laundry. So I thought, well, I'll just pull this out and throw it on the ground. As I reached down to pull it out, it was my wife's underwear. And I looked at it and I went, oh my God. And I threw it. Then I was caught. By the way, the underwear got caught in the dryer, just in case you didn't catch that. I mean, it didn't come from the room. But, so sometimes you can get caught in kind of funny situations. But moving on to vision, here again, it's kind of coincidental that the first quote in the book is, in order to create a viable vision, you must first answer one very fundamental question, and that is, what do I really want? And as we move into the session tomorrow morning, we'll be talking about vision. And what we're going to try to do with our facilitators is to put structure around that word, which we often think of as something kind of vague. And I just want to tell a little story about vision as it relates to my background at Simmons. When I joined Simmons in 2000, we were doing about $600 million in sales. We had recently lost 3 customers to Chapter 7 bankruptcy, Home Life, Highland Myers, and Montgomery Ward's, 3 big names, all Chapter 7 out of business. The company was in trouble. We're in violation of loan covenants, and so there's a lot of work to do. About 4 months into that tenure, I selected 70 people to go off-site to Callaway Gardens in south of Atlanta, hired facilitators, and I said I want us to create the company, if it existed, would put us out of business. So I wanted to create the fraternity that, if it existed, would be the best fraternity. And I think a lot of what I learned being a pledge, being a member of Sigma Nu, was about excellence. And during that 3-day period, we committed our vision to writing. We did a SWOT analysis with outlining strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and used Post-it notes to then take those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats and commit to vision, a 2-year vision with a process we call backcasting. What I mean by that is, so often when we're talking about a vision, we think in terms of starting from where you are today and to start to visualize, if you will, where you want to go to. I think a much better way to do that is to go forward about 2 years and start to create visions, almost ideal visions of, hey, if I was a chapter of 43, what if we were going to be a chapter of 143? What would we have to do? What would be our, what would we get to do for our community? What would we have to do for our university? What would we have to do grade point-wise? Long story short, we wrote those visions that we kind of laughed at them. One of them was we want to be a Fortune Best 100 company to work for. 2 years later, we were a Best Fortune 100 company to work for. It was amazing. We literally accomplished every one of those visions. We got back together and we did it again. So when it comes to visions, it's a continual process. And I really want to recommend that you jump in tomorrow and be a big part of it. The next word is purpose. What organizations need is a mutually agreed upon set of reasons as to why they're going to connect as individuals, form a team, make a difference in their personal and professional lives. I don't know how you feel about it, but to me that's the Credo Sigma Nu. That is our purpose. That's what we recite. That's what we all memorize. And I think that best describes the love, the honor, the truth, the light, in all that we do. Under Regent Durham's leadership, we have clearly established a more defining purpose with Task Force Hopkins, and we're being more and more accountable. We're a fraternity of action, we're a fraternity of excellence, quality, and accountability. Goals. People who are driven set lofty goals and usually commit themselves beyond their natural ability. In session 5 on Saturday, we're going to talk about goal setting. And to me, this is really one of the most important sessions because this is where you start to commit to writing exactly what you want to achieve, not only as a chapter, but as an individual. And I often say what keeps people from writing goals down is they're afraid somebody might see them and then hold them accountable for them and then judge them. So I call that fear. Fear is feelings that are emotional and appear real. And that is to say that the reason we don't write goals down is because we're afraid to fail. So what the mind can believe and conceive and write down, that's the key word, and write down, it can't achieve. So I recommend as you set your goals, stretch them, write them down, and guess what? Show them to people that you respect. And show them to people that will hold you accountable for what you're trying to do. Put them on the back of your door. Put them on your rearview mirror. Because, the more you commit yourself, the more you have other people hold you accountable, the more likely you are to be successful. And also suggest you set deadlines. Accountability. We often find ourselves in situations where we clearly know what's right and wrong, but we simply don't have the guts to step up the plate and make those hard decisions. The High Council meets monthly. We either meet in person or by telephone, and we often have to make tough choices. And those tough choices usually come from bad choices that are thrown in our face, and it's a result of one individual or two individuals or sometimes a group just going the wrong direction. We also get to a lot of times celebrate recolonization and celebrate great choices, and obviously Grand Chapter, the Rock Chapters, and all the awards that we give out. But I would say this to you, that I know every one of my brothers in this room knows the difference between right and wrong. You know it. I mean, it's inherent. It's in your heart. And when you're forced to be put in a situation as a leader, just step up to the plate and make those hard decisions. It's really all about accountability. Our fraternity was founded on Christianity, it was founded on anti-hazing, and it was founded on values. And it's so interesting that over the last many years we've had to fight this hazing issue, which I think we really are getting our arms around. And hopefully one day it'll be completely gone. In fact, it'd be great if it was completely gone now, and I hope it is. But I would just say to you, you need to remember that our fraternity was founded against that, and so we need to continue to remember and be accountable for that piece of our core past. Consistency. Role models don't send mixed messages between what they say and how they behave. There's a great sport in America, particularly in corporate America, it's called boss watching. And, we tend to look and, like when I was at Simmons, I used to have a habit of drinking Perrier all the time. I drink a lot of water. Next thing you know, everybody's drinking Perrier, But the point I'm making is there is a habit called boss watching, and there's a thing going on in your chapters, and it's called commander watching or lieutenant commander watching. So, just remember that you need to dress sharp, you need to look sharp, you need to act sharp. You're a leader, and you're responsible for your actions, and you need to be consistent. Connectivity. We're all the sum total of the influence of our role models education, and experience. To me, of all the quotes, this is one of the most appropriate for, you know, why we go to college. We go to college for connectivity, for communication, to build character, to get an education. And so much about what this next couple of days about is you guys benchmarking with each other and telling stories and finding out why certain chapters consistently have high grade point averages and win spring sing and intramural sports and give back to their communities and are good role models for their communities. So connectivity is very much about what this next couple of days is about. Commitment. We're going on a journey. We'll carry the wounded, but we can't wait on the stragglers. I think this is Brad Beecham's favorite quote. When he received my quote books in Lexington, he opened the little book and he said, I love this one. And so I wanted to be sure it was one of the 9 for today. And, you know, once again, we are going on a journey. And our job at the High Council and our job as brothers is to catch each other being good. We're looking for good. And it reminds me of my friend Luke Holtz, who's been around a long time and done a lot of public speaking. And he talks about the word commitment. And if you've heard this, you'll remember it. If you haven't, you probably will remember it. And that is that what he would say to his players as a coach is, look, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And I want you to ask me the same 3 questions back. And this works for me and my wife. It works for me and my children. It works for me and everyone in this room. And the 3 questions are, can I trust you? Are you committed? And do you care about me? And, you know, when you come right down, you have to understand our High Council, our fraternity, we love you. We care about you. We want you to get better. And that's so much about what this week is about. Sustainability. True leaders spend their energies nurturing other leaders. You know, guys, we all need to be selling. One of my nicknames is ABC, always be selling. And but in all seriousness, we need to continue to grow and recruit ethical leaders, high-quality men. And there are many alumni in this room that have dedicated a big part of their life and personal time, way into their 70s, continuing to spot these leaders and bring them into the fraternity. So, you know, true leaders spend their time nurturing other leaders and recruiting, and we clearly have to continue to do that. And, you know, I describe that sometimes as the power of one. It's best exemplified in, you know, sports with a Cam Newton or Robert Griffin III, or I'll brag a little bit, Justin Blackman from Oklahoma State. I don't really know these guys, but you have a sense that they, you know, just being on television, they have high moral values. They are phenomenal athletes. They're good students. They're good role models. And without any one of those 3 players and those 3 teams, Baylor, Oklahoma State, or Auburn would have never achieved what they achieved in the last couple of years. So as you think, or as you rather look forward to recruiting, don't hesitate to go after the best, because that's the only way we'll be the best, is if we recruit them. And love. I believe the best organizations in the world are connected with powerful emotions. I'm a love guy. You know, I get kidded a lot about being too easy and being too nice to my employees, and for some reason that's worked for us. And I'll tell you a quick story that many of us in the room were able to witness. On November 8th of this year, we had an event in Stillwater, Oklahoma State, to honor one of my pledge pops, nicknamed Sugar Bear. Sugar Bear spent his career at ExxonMobil, ended up as an attorney, very prominent attorney within ExxonMobil. He was a diabetic. He was in my wedding. His wife was in our wedding. His wife was a theta with my wife, and he passed away last year with diabetes after an amputation of one of his legs. And his pledge brothers, which are a year older than me, who, by the way, I might just mention 3 of them: Senator Tom Coburn from Oklahoma, Don Humphreys, the Chief Financial Officer of ExxonMobil, the 2nd largest corporation in the world, and Carl Toma, the founder of one of the most successful private equity firms in the world. All three were there, along with 100 other brothers that spanned about 5 pledge classes. And we flew Susan in on money that I raised from them by just simply sending emails. Next thing I knew, I had $5,000. We went to Tiffany's and we bought a bracelet for Susan. And inside that bracelet it said Sugar Bear. And it had his alpha number on it, 245, and his chapter number, 1064. And we presented her with that bracelet. Everyone showed up. It was unbelievable. And she stood up as a shy woman that recently lost her husband. And I wish you could have been there to hear her talk about the love that she had for the brothers, Sugar Bear's pledge brothers in that room. It was absolutely wonderful. And, it's been 45 years or 46 years since I was initiated. And Sigma Nu's the best thing that ever happened to me. I hope you feel that way. I hope you feel more that way when you wake up Sunday morning. I love this fraternity. I love you guys. Let's go have a great meeting.